My family sold my house on Christmas Eve, then federal agents arrived. My family thought I was the least successful person at Christmas dinner. They mocked my old Honda, laughed at my quiet lifestyle, and treated my career like a joke. Then my father proudly announced that they had sold my Spring Valley house for $2.8 million. What they did not know was that the property was protected diplomatic housing, and their celebration was about to turn into a federal investigation. I was 36 and had spent years being the quiet daughter in my wealthy family. My sister Natalie had a new Mercedes, her husband Richard loved showing off his business deals, and my parents measured success by money and status. I worked internationally and traveled constantly, but they always assumed I was doing some ordinary consulting job. During Christmas dinner, my father announced that he and my mother had sold my house. They claimed it had been sitting empty too long and that they had found an excellent buyer. Then they casually revealed that they had taken a 20% finder's fee worth $560,000. I could barely believe what I was hearing. They had sold my property without asking me. My father told me I should be grateful because they had turned a useless asset into cash. Natalie even mocked me for driving an old Honda while owning an expensive house. Then my phone vibrated. The message said there had been an urgent security breach at my Spring Valley residence and that diplomatic security was responding. I immediately called Director Morrison. His voice was serious. He reminded me that the property was registered with the State Department as my designated diplomatic residence. For 4 years, I had served as Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Vienna. I was a senior American diplomat. Not a consultant, my parents had just sold protected diplomatic property to a private investment company. I returned to the living room and told them the truth. The room went silent. My father insisted I would have told them if my career were really that important. I reminded him that I had explained my work countless times. They simply never listened because they had already decided who I was. Minutes later, several black SUVs arrived. Federal agents entered the house. Agent Jennifer Walsh explained that the sale was unauthorized and that the transaction would be reversed. My parents were going to be questioned as part of a federal investigation. My mother panicked and begged me to fix it. I looked at her and said, "I cannot fix something you chose to do." She reminded me that we were family. I told her that family does not sell your home without permission, take more than $500,000 from the transaction, and spend years treating you like you are incompetent. Natalie accused me of choosing my career over my family. I told her I was choosing the truth over the version of me they had created. The next morning, I gave my statement to the State Department and then returned to Vienna. 3 weeks later, the investigation ended. The property was returned to me, the sale was completely reversed, and my parents were ordered to repay the $560,000 they had taken. They received probation, heavy fines, and serious damage to their professional reputations. My father lost corporate board positions, and my mother had to step away from several prestigious organizations. For months, my family blamed me. I refused to respond. Years passed, and my career continued to grow. Eventually, I became an ambassador. The daughter they once considered unsuccessful had become one of the most respected diplomats in the country. 5 years after that Christmas, I returned to Washington and unexpectedly visited my parents. They looked older and humbled. My mother apologized for dismissing my career. My father admitted they had spent years judging me without ever taking the time to understand me. They said losing their money and status hurt, but losing me hurt more. This time, I believed them. I told them I forgave them. But forgiveness did not mean forgetting. I told them I was not ready to rebuild the relationship, and perhaps I never would be. As I drove away, my phone rang. Director Morrison told me I was being considered for an even higher diplomatic position. I smiled. For years, my family had judged me by my clothes, my car, and my quiet lifestyle. They thought I was unsuccessful because I never needed to prove myself, but they had been wrong. I had built a career, a reputation, and a life that did not depend on their approval. That Christmas, they thought they had sold my most valuable asset. They were wrong. The most valuable thing I gained was the freedom to finally live without needing them to understand me.